Hey everybody, Warfrog here. I thought I'd make another fight video since the last one was kind of popular, and I've getting some requests about some questions on some topics. One of them being, what's your worst injury during your fight career? And I get asked that quite a bit, and I thought I'd talk about a little bit about that today. As you know, MMA can be pretty brutal. If you watch a UFC, you've probably seen guys break their legs like Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva and Conor McGregor, guys like that, that don't ever quite recover from. So yeah, it can be pretty brutal. You've seen them pretty bloody matches if you watch, but or if you watch local shows, some of those things can happen as well. But for me, I never had anything that brutal. Typically, I try to get the fight to the ground as fast as possible, and except for a few occasions I wanted to put on a show, but and it'd come back to bite me in the ass and I'd get banged up. But if I could get it over as fast as possible, I usually never got hurt. Most of my injuries really happened in training. Let's say like broken noses. Now, I've had 7 or 8 broken noses. You can see my nose is kind of twisted, and I've done my best to fix it. Talked to a plastic surgeon about fixing it once I was done fighting, and I just never got around to it. It does make it hard to breathe through. Like I said, I've probably broken 7 or 8 times. 2 or 3 of those were probably in fights, but the rest were in training. And the worst one was I was on the end of a punch. Danny Anderson, one of my best buddies and training partners, just early 2000s, connected real good and laid it off to the side, and really wasn't all that painful, if I remember right. It hurt, but it felt more pressure because it was laid off to the side of my face, and to put it back is what hurt, and it bled quite a bit, a lot of blood out of that, tore some the membranes and stuff inside the nose. And as soon as I straightened it, I was ready to go again, but Danny wisely told me not to do it. Of course, the next few days it hurt so bad, swelled up, and I had a couple black eyes from it. So wisely, he told me to take it easy, and I did. So, but in fights, you don't really notice it. I ate an elbow once on my back, and the guy on top just laid it right into me and smashed my nose and cut me here and cut me there. And to be honest, I didn't feel it till afterwards. The adrenaline's going, and it looks way more brutal than it actually is. I think of broken noses like superficial damage. Probably not a common concept for most people, but for fighters, broken noses are just part of the deal. Some guys got cauliflower ears. I never did. My ears would turn purple, but and swell, but then it would go away. Would I like to have cauliflower ears? Sure. It's a badge. For a lot of fighters and wrestlers, they're proud of them, and rightly they should be. It's a sacrifice and a commitment, and it shows it's like a badge, and I get it. I know some guys are supposedly took pliers to their ears and tried to get cauliflower ear. I never was planning to do that. I wanted it legitimately, and it just never happened for me. I can see a little bit of differences in my ears, probably from a little bit of the cartilage damage, but really nothing from that. What else have I had? Dislocated jaws. That's one of the most painful things. Really painful. And again, you don't notice it during the fight, but after the fight, when you go to eat something, your teeth don't line up, and you just can't chew food, which is horrible because you've dieted for the fight, 8 to 12 weeks, and you're ready to eat now, and you can't. Your teeth are not lining up. I asked one time a girlfriend to chew my food up for me and spit it in my mouth. She refused, but it was you get pretty desperate for pizza and stuff like that. But dislocated jaw, it just hurts like right up into the ear and everything like that. It's a horrible thing, but still not the worst injury I've had. I've had punctured eardrums. Usually those happen with boxing gloves on, and your ears are sweating, boom, and you hit, and the air has nowhere to go but compressed inside the ear, and it tears the membrane inside the ear. I've had that happen 2 or 3 times. One time in a fight, a guy cuffed my ears, both sides, and it's like a real ringing noise, and it was painful as hell. I bled out of my ear for 3 or 4 days, and so a lot of people, hey, is that why you got hearing loss? No, I've had hearing loss since I was a little boy, but my audiologist will confirm that. I got scars on the membranes, and she said that was more of the high-pitched sounds that affects that, so it's not what caused my hearing issues. But it does suck to have your ears punctured in that way. Let's see, broken teeth. I've had a few. I've had 3, just all at once. I've had my teeth chipped from boxing, and from my brother boxing me and hitting me, and I didn't have a mouthpiece and hit a dresser. That was my first chipped tooth. I remember that from when I was like 13 or 14 years old. Boxing my brother, and then as years go by, I learned to put a mouthpiece in. That stops a lot of the broken teeth. The way my teeth broke is Mikey Van Meer kicked me in the neck. My mouthpiece flew out, and so I was knocked unconscious. And as I crashed on the ground, my teeth clacked together and broke 3 of them all at once. I had to have root canals in all 3 teeth. Boy, that's expensive. But boy, that sucked. How jagged the teeth were, and cutting into my tongue. That's what I remember, waking up and spitting out bits of teeth. And Mikey feeling very sorry and apologetic for me, but those things happen, Let's see, I've had a torn MCL once from a fight. I got kicked while I was teeping Elvis Matopchik, and he kicked at the same time. So I'm standing on one leg, and boom, took it out from under the knee, and just partially tore the MCL. I probably should have got it fixed, never did. But concussions, I've had a few of those. I'd say sometimes I played college football for 2 years, and I probably got dinged up more doing that than knee injuries, back injuries, and things like that. I can see why football players have a short career. It's really brutal. I say it's a car wreck every play. But for fighting, I'd had a few concussions, usually in training, and just going too hard and getting in slugfests, which is easy to do with some of the guys I train, especially in the early days when we sparred so hard. We went for knockouts and or tap outs, just replicated the fight as close as it could be. Just had a cage in my basement, and we just got after it like 2 cats in a bag. And those things happen. Being KO'd is not so painful. I've been KO'd once, but I didn't go to sleep. You don't feel anything. You just don't remember anything. Being submitted, it depends on what kind of submission. I got caught in a knee bar once, and I had partially torn the MCL previous to the fight, a week before the fight, but I refused to drop out. So I put a knee brace on both knees, I think, and tried to hide it. And the guy just he saw the knee brace and figured something was up, so he went for it and got it. And I probably tapped a little too quick, fearing, hey, that's my good knee, and he's going to mess that up. So if I could do that fight over again, I'd love to, but I would have loved to. But I never liked rematches anyway. But that hurt. But I tapped before there was any damage to that. But as far as my worst injury, I was fighting a guy named Chuck Rainey in 2008. He's from Springfield, Missouri. He came out to fight me, and he'd had a few fights and amateur fights and a few pro fights. I think he was a former bodybuilder, and he was a jiu-jitsu instructor. I think he was training partners with Zach Cummings, who was also fighting on the card against my buddy Dan Anderson, I believe. But so when I was, of course, fighting him, he had facial hair and shaved his head and just had the stubble up there. And during the course of trying to submit him, my favorite submission at that time was doing guillotines. And I think I won, during the course of my career, I think I won 6 fights with guillotines, 6 or 7. And to be honest, they weren't always chokeholds. Some of them were neck cranks. I like to, if I can't get underneath their chin, I turn their head and try to lay their ear on their chest. And it really opens up the cervicals in the back of the neck and causes a lot of discomfort. So they have to tap or have somebody wipe their ass for the rest of their life. So that's probably 3 fights that are turned into neck cranks. It just, you call them guillotines. But anyways, as I was fighting Chuck Rainey, he was aware that this was my move, and he used these whiskers to irritate the hell out of me. And so in between rounds, I went to my corner, and Mikey Van Meer was cornering me, and I asked him, say, hey, can you put some Vaseline on my nipple? It's extremely painful. Whisker burn on the nipple. It's just huge, throbbing with the size of a pinky. Horrible pain. And he refused to do it because there was cameras watching us, and of course, 3,000 to 5,000 people in the crowd. And he didn't want to touch my nipple in front of all those people around the camera. And so I took it off, put it on. Of course, the ref saw it and came over and wiped it off, which almost tapped out then. It was very painful. Eventually, I caught him with less than a minute left in the second round and tapped him out with the guillotine. Afterwards, I was asking him, dude, your whiskers burnt. I mean, my nipple was so red and throbbing and painful. I hated it. I had to put a Band-Aid. I couldn't even put, bear to touch it, have a t-shirt on. It was horrible. And I asked him after fighting, he goes, oh yeah, it was a plan. I wanted to give you whisker burns, make you discomfort. I go, that's like cheating. It was so bad. So that was my worst injury, is the whisker burn on the nipple. I'd rather have broken noses or dislocated jaws than go through that again. That was savage. And that answers that question. If you have more, message me again, and I'll do another video of that. These seem to be kind of popular. People kind of like them, no matter how long they are. And I'll go over some other stuff if you'd like to. So if you want to leave a comment and let me know your worst injuries, I'd like to hear them, those stories as well. And we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.